say is it's better to be lucky than good sometimes.
Exactly right.
I mean, it's not as great as the Dodgers are. Luck plays a role in this sometimes. And the Kerkering error was wild. Like, I don't think anyone in their wildest dreams thought that would end that way. It's only the second playoff game to ever end in an walk-off error. Like, it just never really happens.
Yeah, let me tell you something. I don't care who you root for, okay? You could be the hardest core Dodger fan on the planet. You could be the hardest core Phillies fan.
Hardest core.
Hardest core.
Hardcore, brother. Of the core.
You could be the hardest
core of the hardest.
Of all cores, you could be the hardest one. Phillies fan, doesn't matter. God, I felt terrible for that kid.
Well, yes and no.
Oh, my
so
God.
Here's what I would tell you is if you are a Dodger fan, in the moment, there's no chance you're feeling sorry for him. You are elated. You are ecstatic. You are out of your mind that you have survived and moved on in a crazy fashion, in a crazy way. You are not thinking about Orion Kerkering over there. You are focused on you. Now, maybe a day or so later, you're like, yo, that sucks for that dude. You know what I mean?
It does suck for that dude. But why do you keep putting an O in front of his last name, too? Orion Kerkering. You giving this kid an extra O?
This early?
You giving this kid an extra O?
Better. It's like he's Irish. Kerkering.
I'm on like 3 hours of sleep. Don't make me go and rip your head off today.
Oh, my God. Well, I'm going to get to you early. But here's the thing about Orion Kerkering, even though I'm going to take out the second O.
Please stop, Cap.
You know the story on this kid? You know anything about him, George? I know you're on.
I know nothing about him, clearly, because I don't even know his name. So my apologies.
No, that's all right. You don't have to worry about it. He's a local kid, a local guy.
What is he from here?
He went to Venice High School.
Was he born here?
I will leave that to you to make that determination if he was born here.
Well, after last night's performance, not even a transient in Venice would want to talk to him.
Lindsay, he was born in Huntington Beach.
Oh,
okay,
so he is a local guy.
From here, and he's a local guy.
So the kid went to Venice High, and he's 24 years old. You think about that for a second. Your kid in Little League, strikes out looking in the championship game, and you're like, oh, my 12-year-old. Your kid misses that game-winning kick when he's in high school. Oh, my kid. This guy's 24 years old. He's been in the major league since 2023. This kid was a local guy, Venice High School, University of South Florida, 5th-round draft choice, and then the kid finally makes his major league debut, and now he's with the Phillies in his hometown of L.A. against the Dodgers, George, and this is the dream come true. If you can't play for him, you're on that big stage, and you
then guess what happens?
That is what happened, unfortunately.
He makes $770,000. Don't feel that bad for him.
After taxes,
$770,000.
it's probably like half that.
Yeah, Pennsylvania's not as bad as California, so we might.
I mean, it's pretty bad. Still.
Oh, is it?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Anything in the Northeast is pretty.
And by the way, you make it seem like $770,000 is a lot of money out here, but in there, when Bryce Harper goes, "Hey, you want to go on vacation with me and my wife?" He's like, "I can't afford to even hang out with you guys."
Right.
So, I'm not feeling the money's not a thing for me.
I know, but you're trying to do the bit you've been doing all week that we should feel bad
Usually
for him.
it's Cappy the one who's the, corporate greedy capitalist who's always focused on money.
No,
you were that person. Too.
No, that's been you this week. That's because I've been the one who's been sympathetic for the fans, like going, "Hey, I wouldn't pay for these tickets right now either." And you're like, "That's unacceptable."
It's quite the opposite. I've said, go get the cheaper seats because you never know what's going to happen moving forward.
And, Chris, what have I been doing all –
Back to the Dodgers for 1 second, because I would love to hear what the host, or one of the hosts, of the Blue Review, Greg Bergman, felt in the way that transpired. Because, again, not only was the Kerkering error a big issue, but am I the only one that saw that Hae-Sung Kim didn't step on the plate?
He missed the plate.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
He stepped in front of it, ran past it, and then had to come back. So if that throw is online, he's going to be out probably. Like, not for sure, because maybe Real Muto doesn't realize he hadn't stepped on the base, but, like, there is at least a chance that inning ends and we're still playing potentially.
There's so many ways that inning could have ended, and absolutely, because JT Realmuto was pointing to first.
Oh, my God.
And he missed the plate. The ball goes behind him to the backstop. JT
He doesn't run for it.
He doesn't even go after the ball
Well, he
because
knew it was over at that
he
point.
knew it was
Yeah.
over. So Haesung Kim was able to just walk back to the plate and step on it, but at least he thought about it and walked back to the plate.
Yeah.
Imagine if he didn't. Imagine if he just started
Right.
cheering and
No,
going
I know.
crazy.
What would happen though? Could you imagine if he never steps on the plate, doesn't go back, right? Does like Major League Baseball make them come back to play like the rest of that inning? Like what happens there in that scenario?
Yeah, I have no idea, but I think they would have gone back and looked at it and said, "Hey, he didn't touch the plate. He's out."
No, he couldn't be out. He couldn't be out.
They never,
Well, he
because they
couldn't
never
be
touched
out.
on
Right.
him. Yeah, because they never put
Nobody,
the ball.
right? Like
Right.
that's why I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
do they make them come back to play?
No.
Just that at bat.
No, they're like, hey, you listen, JT, that's your fault, man. You should have gone, chased the ball. Hey, by the way, where's the backup? Oh, the backup is the pitcher, and the pitcher has his hands on his knees as the Dodgers are rushing the field. So guess what? Game, set, match.
Yeah.
But I'll tell
Look
you
at
what.
you. See, that's the way it should have been. Not you Radio Ronaldoing this thing from the start. You think Dodger fans want to hear Radio Ronaldo about Kerkering right now? They want to
yes.
hear about.
Yes, I
they
do.
want to hear about. They want to hear about. Yo, Philly fan, take that. That's
No,
what they want.
They don't. No, they don't.
Tómala.
No, they're like, you know what? Local guy, Venice High, feel bad for that kid. In fact, I even saw the host of the Blue Review, Gregory Arthur Bergman, sent out a tweet where he actually said, I feel so bad for this kid because the kid at 24 years old, like a total professional, is a child. A total professional stood there and answered
24,
all
you're
the
not
questions.
A child anymore, I don't think.
Yeah, but you're not a real adult. You're barely an adult at 24.
This kid stood there and answered all the tough questions.
Yeah, he did. But that was also at like 9:30 at night while I
Do you
was
realize
laying
there's
in
a
bed.
good shot if he goes to Philly that he'll get shot by a Phillies fan?
I mean,
Philly
I don't know,
fans
like,
are
go that
insane.
The
I
dark
get it,
heart.
but-
And
I mean,
listen,
don't even put that in the atmosphere.
They threw
dude. What's wrong
batteries
with
at Santa
you?
Claus.
Well, listen.
They
last
booed
night-
Santa Claus.
That's true.
Oh, they threw
And-
batteries at Michael Irvin. Sorry.
And last night, you think? Listen, I know
I
Chris
mean, the
is
Cleveland
being,
fans did it to LeBron
Oh,
when he
that's
came
true.
back.
Chris is being very.
Yes,
Yeah, but
they did.
Cleveland
Yes,
fans,
they
they
did.
got like
NBA go ask NBA security if they threw batteries.
Yeah,
from
go
the
ask
upper
him,
deck.
Linz. Get
Oh,
NBA
boy.
security on the
Now
call.
you're gonna get
let's
Lindsay all
let's do
riled
it.
up.
Let's do it.
It's the truth.
But let's talk about like Tyler Glasnow, Roki Sasaki, the big stuff that happened in that game to keep them in. The pitching was fantastic on both sides too.
Yes, it was.
It was
Yes, it was.
Roki Sasaki has been an incredible revelation and has saved the Dodgers' ass. Is that fair to say?
Oh, 100%. You can actually trust him out of the bullpen. He went 3 innings? It was and he went
Yeah, 3 innings yesterday.
I saw a stat that
Yeah.
he's faced 12 batters, 12 Philly batters and got 12 outs.
Yeah. Wow.
So, Cappy, the reason I only slept like 3 or 4 hours because I got up. I wanted to rewatch the entire game in its entirety. I did not want to skip a moment. I didn't want to fast track it in the 25-minute Google edition or whatever. I wanted to watch the entire thing. And to your point, Greg, when I watched Sasaki, he dominated, man. Like his fastball, he was attacking hitters. He had guys off balance. He was hitting 100. Like he was in a freaking groove, man.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable to
Yeah.
watch.
And he was locked in too because when he would go back to the dugout, rather than a guy like putting on a jacket, taking off a glove,
Right.
having a glass of water or anything, my man kept his glove on and he was just sitting there like, all right, let's go. Come on, man. Hurry up. Let's go. Get me back out there. I am locked in and I don't want to have my blood pressure come down at all. Like I want to stay in the zone. It was
Since
pretty
his
amazing.
Return from the IL, he has pitched. I want to make sure I have this right. 7 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, no walks. I mean, he's getting swings and misses. As I mentioned, hitters are off balance. Like he's pounding the zone. Like this kid is. I mean, remember at the beginning of the season how like we were all like, "Ooh, is this even going to work out? Like,
Right.
are they going to have this? Like, what's going to happen with
And
this
think
kid?"
about how long he's been gone. You know what I
Right.
mean? Right? I mean, to start the season off like you're pointing out, where it wasn't very good and it wasn't very impressive, then to be gone practically the entire season and then do this rehab start, and then you're like, okay, well, we desperately need help out of the bullpen, and this kid's like, I'll do it, man. And then because he's really a starter and you could get 3 innings out of him yesterday, it's quite the story.
So when the last time we saw him before he went on the IL, he was crying in the dugout because he had such a bad appearance. Like that was our last memory of him before he came back.
Right.
And for what he did, it was
Right. Because
Holy
he's 23 and he's a child too, by the way.
well, yeah. And Sedano, you said it. He had 0 walks. that's the first guy to come out of that pen that actually does not walk anybody. Everybody in that bullpen, that was a huge problem. Walks, couldn't throw a strike, couldn't find the plate, and then he comes in throwing 100 miles dotted on a corner. It just changes everything.
Hey,
He's
listen,
throwing dots, Cap. He's dotting
listen,
them,
I
okay?
know he was. And
It was a
listen,
dot.
It was a great night if you're an LA sports fan, if you're a Dodger fan, and to Chris's point, heart as he must have, okay? Black heart, bad guy, talking
Actually,
about...
now my heart's soft because of the medicine. It's not hard
okay.
anymore.
What this kid is going to face in Philadelphia, because I've already seen people saying this is the Phillies' Bill Buckner moment of the Red Sox. And then to make matters worse, the New York Giants beat down the defending Super Bowl champions, giving them their second straight loss. And all of a sudden, Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo are the celebration of the NFL and the hottest thing going in New York City right now.
You know what? That Chargers loss doesn't look so bad anymore, right?
Well, no, because the Giants are awesome.
Wait,
The Giants are great.
After beating the Super Bowl champions, doesn't look as bad anymore now.
No, the Giants are great. They're awesome. They're the best team in the league. In fact, wait for the top 10.
They're
Wait,
not the best
just
team
wait.
in the league.
They are
but
now.
They are certainly competent, at least at
They
home.
are now. Jackson Dart is a star.
Yeah,
Jackson
he's
Dart's
throwing
part of your morning
darts.
wood. And you know who's
By
got
the
our
way,
morning wood.
Jackson Dart, former USC Trojan, prior
Yeah.
to Lincoln Riley's arrival.
Our friends at Hernandez Wholesale Flooring. Tell us about them, George, please.
I will, and I also want to get back to the Dodgers after this because
Of
you know
course.
the Hernandez brothers are big Dodger fans. Because we've talked a lot about the pitching, but we got to talk about Mookie Betts. We got to talk about Kike. You want to talk about two
Clutch.
incredible at bats in in that game yesterday. Unbelievable stuff. So, but all right, the most was Mookie Betts yesterday. And we talked about that crazy at bat, and I want to get into some of Mookie's numbers during the postseason. But let's listen to that insane at bat when he ends up walking in the tying run.
Kerkering delivers, swinging a ground ball back to the pitcher. He knocks it down, picks it up, he throws home, and a run scores. He threw it away. He threw it right by everybody. Kim scores, and the Dodgers win it in 11.
That's
And
not
they're on to
exactly
the
the sound you're looking for.
NLCS.
Yeah, that's not the Mookie Betts sound.
No.
That's the final call.
Right.
But it was a great call by Dave O'Brien on ESPN Radio.
It was a good call. It was a very solid call.
Very descriptive, which is exactly what you want on radio.
What I liked was Brian Anderson. Brian Anderson on television.
He
goes,
was like, "Oh my God!"
"Oh my goodness!" Like his natural
couldn't
reaction
believe it.
was like, "I cannot believe what I just saw."
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll play the right one now.
Duran sets. Here's the 3-2 to Betts. And it's taken high for ball 4. And that'll force in a tying run. Dean will score from third. And we are dead even. 1-1 in the 7th. Mookie Betts refused to go after the high hard one.
Oh, man.
And he picks up the RBI.
That was such
I mean, it's hard
a
to lay
tough
off the high
pitch.
hard one, is what I would
Such
say.
a hey, Kyle Schwarber earlier in the game was not able to do that, and
Yeah.
and that pitch that Mookie did not swing on.
Yeah.
If he gets called out looking, Dodger fans will go crazy that the pitch was high.
Yeah.
Philly fans, of course, would say no, that's a legitimate strike.
Correct.
But the bottom line is you're leaving it up to the umpires. So the discipline that it took for him to not swing
Yeah.
is pretty darn remarkable because we're comparing it to Teoscar
question.
Hernandez, who has no ability to lay off of anything.
Correct. Yeah. No, listen, I'm with you wholeheartedly. And the crazy part is, I saw this stat on SportsCenter last night because Mookie Betts was on with Scott Van Pelt, and he has 10 hits in the postseason. Okay, leading the team. 15 total bases, also leads the team. I mean, do you remember like how rough it was?
Oh, yeah.
From April through August for this man?
Oh, dude. I mean, think about the beginning of the season. Remember the beginning of the year?
Right.
When,
The issue with the losing weight and the illness and nobody
Right.
knew what it was and all
Right.
that stuff. Right.
And then middle of the year when he's really scuffling, a lot of us, I'll put myself right in this group, we're like, well, look, you decide that you want to go play shortstop when really you're the best right fielder in all of baseball, and at the time was not elite level shortstop defensive play. And it's like between the preparation it takes and the mental preparation that it takes to play a position that's not your best or natural position, and then you're struggling at the plate. And this is, again, I would thought, well, because he's out there taking ground balls, he's thinking too much, He can't get his offensive game together. He still is dealing with the effects of the illness from earlier in the season. Nothing seemed to be going right for Mookie Betts, but the baseball season, when it's all said and done, players like Mookie Betts, when you look at his stats at the end of the year, you're like, yeah, I don't really remember all of it, but seems to be kind of on par with who he is as a player.
Well, Boog Shambi told the story when they did the Red Series that Mookie basically told him in August, somewhere at the end of August, right before Labor Day, he was just like, you know what, my season's basically over. Like, from a statistical perspective, like him putting up the numbers he traditionally puts up. So I think he just kind of said, like, bleep it, I'll just,
let it
start
go.
over.
Right.
And he, the context was he was just going to do whatever it took to help the team. And, whatever that meant at the plate, so be it. You know what I mean? And look at him. Basically, he removed that whatever shadow that was over him for so long during the season, and then just like clear of mind, starts playing out of his mind in September, and it's carried over here in October.
Did you guys hear him after the game when Alden Gonzalez did the walk-off, and he kept saying how weak he was? Like, that took everything out of me. I could barely stand up. I wanted to finish because, I just wanted the game to end so we could win and I could be done because I'm so weak. He kept saying that.
He was telling Van Pelt, too, he was, like, mentally fried and wiped. And he talked about how hard it is to play a series against those guys because they make you earn every moment.
They're that close.
Said,
I mean, those teams,
Pelt.
they're that close to each other. And it could have gone either way. Linz, do you have that sound from Mookie?
Yes, here we go.
Hey, Mookie, a really tense game, not a lot of runs. What were the emotions like when that winning run finally crossed home plate?
Dude, I don't even know, man. I was so weak. I was so weak, I couldn't even stand up. That was hard, man. Shout out to the Phillies. That was hard. That's one of the hardest things we've ever had to do.
You don't need me to tell you this, but the Phillies were arguably one of the most talented teams in this playoff field. To get past them, how big is that for you guys?
Man, that's huge. I think that's why I'm so weak. I'm telling you, I couldn't even stand up. It was hurting to stand up. I mean, just getting past them, it's really tough. But like I said, kudos to them, man. They fought hard.
I don't see you sort of emotional like that very often. What is it about this team that just gave you that?
I love these boys, and there's no way to describe how hard that was. And to go through something that hard with your boys, sometimes it just makes you want to cry a little bit, but, I'm happy.
What does that tell you about the resiliency of this club right now?
Everything. You're gonna have to battle. You're gonna have to battle every game. Every game you're gonna have to battle to beat us, and we're gonna show up ready to go.
To see Tyler Glasnow do what he did today, to see Roki give you 9 up, 9 down. What can you say about this pitching staff today?
They've been amazing. They essentially have carried us here. So we just got to get it going offensively. We had a couple bad games, but that's a big team win.
Mookie, thank you. Congratulations.
George.
That's great stuff. And then also excellent work by Alden there. Great question.
Very good interview, especially when the guy tells you how wiped out he is. And to continue with the interview like that and get him talking was great stuff. But it's like Mookie said, it makes you, the emotion of sports can make you want to cry, the high or the low.
Radio Rinaldi.
That's right. The highs and the lows can make you want to cry. And you're looking at the high of, oh, my God, we just won in a bizarre fashion, and I'm exhausted. And then the flip side is you're watching Kerkering come off the mound, and you're seeing him go into the dugout, and you're seeing the Phillies manager console him, and it's just an emotional thing. It really is. And by the way, you're touting Mookie Betts and how great he's been. It's amazing the opposite for Ohtani.
He's had 9 strikeouts. Yeah.
The Dodgers, when you look at a 2-1 game and how close it is, you think to yourself, well, the Phillies in the first 2 games, their stars didn't perform. In Game 3, their stars did perform. That's why they won. The difference is when Ohtani, let's presume it's a when, not an if, but when Ohtani starts to hit, when he breaks out of this little playoff slump he's in, I think he's 1 for 18 right now, Bergie. Yeah. You'll have to check me on that.
Close.
But 1 for 18 for Ohtani. When Ohtani
overall 4 for 27 in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's hit some pretty big shots. He just to the warning track a couple times. So.
Yeah, but when Ohtani breaks out, and presume he will,
it's getting good wood on the ball, Cappy.
Yes, right. Then that's going to change a lot for the Dodger offense.